Hey everyone! Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more stories like this. The company party had been on everyone's calendar for weeks, billed as a highlight of the year, a glamorous evening meant to celebrate achievements, strengthen connections, and let everyone unwind. The ballroom was nothing short of breathtaking. Golden chandeliers hung majestically from the ceiling, their light bouncing off polished marble floors and sparkling crystal glasses meticulously arranged on every table. Each table was dressed in crisp white linens, polished silverware, and flickering candles that cast a gentle, romantic glow across the room. In the corner, a jazz trio played smooth, melodic tunes, filling the space with sophistication and charm. Guests moved in small clusters, laughter weaving with polite applause, champagne glasses clinking in harmony with the music. On the surface, it was the perfect night. Everyone seemed to be enjoying themselves. Everyone, that is, except me. Across the room, my wife Victoria made her intentions unmistakably clear. She entered like she owned the night, radiant in an emerald green dress that hugged every curve, her hair cascading over her shoulders in soft waves. Her lips were painted a bold red, curved into a practiced, irresistible smile. But it wasn't her beauty that caught me. It was her eyes, sharp and deliberate, scanning the room until they found Richard, her boss, a man notorious for his charm and ambition. A familiar twist of unease coiled in my chest as I watched what was about to unfold. Victoria's movements were calculated. She leaned toward him, laughed at lines that barely warranted it, and let her hand brush his arm in a touch that screamed intimacy under the ballroom's soft light. I stayed calm, quiet, sliding onto a bar stool as though nothing were happening. I sipped my drink slowly, cataloging every glance, every gesture, every inflection in her voice. Her laughter was musical and inviting, drawing the attention of those around her. Colleagues exchanged glances, whispered among themselves, some visibly uncomfortable, others simply shocked. Victoria, however, seemed oblivious, confident that her little display had gone unnoticed. She was wrong. I had anticipated her theatrics and had prepared carefully, not in anger, not impulsively, but with cold, deliberate precision. Earlier in the week, I had devised a quiet, foolproof way to reveal the truth. As she leaned closer to Richard, whispering and tilting her head flirtatiously, I slipped an envelope into her purse. Inside were photos of her prior indiscretions, text messages proving her late nights at work were far from professional, and notes outlining her rehearsed lies. I made no move to confront her directly. Confrontation would have been messy and unnecessary. I let the evidence speak for itself. As the evening progressed, she felt it, the subtle shift that unsettled her carefully composed facade. Her playful smirk faltered the instant her fingers brushed against the envelope. She froze, eyes widening, scanning its contents in disbelief. Confidence cracked into panic, rippling through her every movement. Around the room, whispers began to stir. Colleagues leaned closer, glancing between Victoria and Richard, sensing the tension replacing the previously lively atmosphere. Her attempts to recover only made it worse. She forced a laugh, hollow and sharp, failing to mask her discomfort. Richard stiffened, his grin disappearing as he registered the sudden shift in dynamics. The flirtation that had seemed effortless in private moments ago was now public, undeniable and humiliating. Every touch, every soft laugh, every sly glance that had once worked in her favor now turned against her. By the end of the night, she excused herself, claiming she needed fresh air, hurrying toward the exit while whispers trailed behind her like shadows. Her confident, controlled image had vanished, replaced by vulnerability and panic. Richard followed, uneasy, uncertain, while the room continued to absorb the spectacle. The colleagues who had once watched with quiet curiosity now had confirmation. The flirtation was no longer private or playful. It was fully exposed. I remained at the bar, composed and silent, sipping my drink as though nothing had happened. There was no need for drama. The subtle, perfectly timed action, the envelope, the evidence the patients had done everything. The room had witnessed the truth, leaving Victoria no room for denial. The humiliation was complete, quiet, and devastating in its precision. By morning, my phone was flooded. Messages poured in, sympathy, curiosity, the inevitable wave of office gossip. Victoria's panic grew with every notification. Her carefully cultivated image, built over years, had collapsed overnight. She sent me desperate texts, pleading and humiliated. I ignored them, letting silence and consequence speak louder than words ever could. Across the office, the story spread like wildfire. Colleagues whispered, some with sympathy, others quietly savoring the drama. Victoria's reputation had shifted irrevocably. The bold, playful woman who had effortlessly commanded attention was now a figure of embarrassment. Painfully aware her carefully maintained illusion had crumbled. Weeks later, she approached me, her voice tinged with humility, eyes full of desperation. "Daniel, please." "I can explain," she began. I shook my head, steady and calm. The party had revealed the truth. I didn't need to speak. She had done it herself. Her shoulders slumped, her composure gone, finally confronting the weight of her actions. That night, sitting alone in our apartment, I reflected on the power of patience and strategy. The strongest lessons, I realized, aren't delivered with anger or confrontation. They come through calm, calculated silence and decisive action. Victoria had learned the hard way that unchecked boldness, when met with quiet precision, can expose lies, humiliate the guilty, and shatter facades beyond repair. And in that realization, I found an unexpected sense of closure.